y'all, what it is, what it do. It's your girl Brittany back better, another video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, like the video, click the bell to be notified of every time I post. You know what it is, I know what it is. We know that I post frequently. All right, y'all, say it with me collectively. We are jumping, we are skipping, we hopping, we leaping, we doing a daggy bow or daggy out into this video. Click the link down in my description box below to become a paid member on my Patreon. All right, y'all, let's go. Let's go and get into this video. Now, let's talk about nttv's new show called The Hookup. This is a show I will be watching. I think it's going to give, like, deja vu. But, like, you know, they actually called it what it is, The Hookup. So, mind y'all, Dawn Flana is back on my TV screen. You know, I love to see me a good, nice chocolate man who don't mind and who can really take a go through there. Oh, hallelujah. So, his fine ass is back on my TV screen, and I'm going to enjoy it, okay? So, I'm not gonna lie, when I seen the trailer, the first thing I looked at was the clappers. I said, ooh. I hope y'all is really showing how these folks gonna get down. Yes, give me a little soft P. Ain't never heard. A little soft P, soft. But they put that in the trailer. So really I'm watching just to see, you know, what happens. Obviously, Zeus and Now That's TV is trying to capitalize off of Love Island. Obviously are trying to give Love Island but lower budget with more people that we already familiar with, which I don't mind. Now, from what I remember on the flyer, I'm familiar with the Now That's TV people. I know they got one girl from Jocelyn's show who came over. If I'm not mistaken, Bambi's ex-fiance is on the show. You know, they got Tokoyo, which Tokoyo is kind of like family now to Now That's TV. So, you know, they got some people in it. They got some people. They got Kayla. And I was like, okay, Kayla. Kayla on there doing what need to be done. They brought Nova back. They brought Dawn back. Nova on there giving a lot. She definitely said that she was very emotional on the show, and we're gonna see a different side of her. I said, okay, all right, soft-spoken Nova. We'll see a different side of her. Now let's talk about these two. Okay, so if y'all ain't know, I feel like I told y'all this when it came to the Deja Vu reunion, but maybe y'all didn't get it or whatever. Who cares? But allegedly, Nova and Dawn was talking or like going together at the Deja Vu reunion. They was hugged up, booed up while they was waiting on everybody and everything. So I guess on the show, it turned off. I don't know if after Deja Vu they just stopped talking like that, you know, because they wasn't in the same setting with each other anymore or what. I don't know. But he was grilling her on this show. He was grilling her. He had said he a big Gemini. As soon as he said Gemini, I was turned off because I do not care for no Gemini, especially Gemini men. Dating Gemini men romantically, yeah, keep it on the playground, and please in the sandbox, okay? Never on the swings. But he was grilling her this whole time while she was on the podcast. He was grilling her down. He was like, so what is you doing with this? What is you doing with that? They did have eliminations, and from what he said, he did get eliminated early. I wonder why he got eliminated so early. He's fine. Like, no shade. I would have kept him every time. Right now, you know, I don't know what he did on the show, but right now, I would have kept him long term. Now, they did talk about this show, basically saying, like, did you come for love or did you come to hook up? Obviously, the men had came to hook up because the show was called Hookup. And a lot of the women was like, no, I came for love. Like, I came for love. I said, ooh, those are some childhood wounds that we all need to address, because the show was called The Hookup. Why are we coming for love? We gotta dig deep in those childhood wounds, because the show is called The Hookup. And you actually on here trying to find love like a fool. Now, I think that's crazy. But then, too, I used to be a delusional girl. too, back in the day. Thank God. God is great. Shout out to the Lord for growth, because that's what I believe the girlies need currently right now at this moment. Now, in the trailer, I believe once they slowed it down, I only watched the trailer once, and nothing caught my eye but the booty clapping, okay? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The scenes in the rooms, girl, that's all I seen. I said, you got a winner. I'm watching, okay? So, I didn't see anything else. They ain't said Nova and fought somebody in the trailer. Baby, when I say round of applause, make it clap is all I looked at, that was it. Okay, even with Monkey, they said Monkey was in the room, and you know I'm looking. I'm like, really? Ugh, stanky? Ew. But anyways, so in the trailer, allegedly, once they slowed it down, Tokyo threw something at this man. I don't know who this man is, but then he ended up jumping on Tokyo. Child, girl. So they talked about that for a little bit. They talked about that, and basically everybody said the politically correct answer, which was, hey, a man don't ever need to put his hands on a woman, which is true. Then, they said two things can be true at the same time, which is also true, is that she shouldn't have never threw water on him or whatever she did on him, and he should have never hit her. And I'm like, right. And at this point, everybody need to keep their hands to themselves. And women like her give a bad rep to women like us, regular women, because they always try to make it seem like these are the women. When they give examples of women who come on Now That's TV, y'all know, we just had an argument about this like last month. They'll be like, oh, the biological women are so aggressive. And then, mind you, this will be their new example of us being aggressive, a.k.a. Miss, I'll take it to the streets or I'll take you to heaven. Splashing a man with some water and him then jumping on her or whatever the case is. So I do hate that is a misfortune. I hope she's okay, because they said, from what I seen and what they said, he definitely baptized her. I hope she is okay. I hope she is. Will he have a better image? Probably not. I think from the jump, we're not going to like him. We're already looking at him sideways because he had jumped on her. And that's his highlight already. Regardless of how cool, how smooth, how fine he is, it's giving beater. It's giving beater already. So with it already giving beater, we already come in with a perceived notion of your character, so whatever your character is, no matter how fun, fine, nice looking, charming you are, we, from the get-go, we're seeing beater, I don't know, it was already comfortable with each other, obviously to hook up with them for real and stuff, it seems as though a lot of people were comfortable, so maybe they were a match, and then became unmatched or whatever the case is, and then both of them got in their feelings very quickly, and it escalated very quickly. But thank God it was other people there to get them away from each other, and to de-escalate the situation. I do hate when that happens. It's really hard to watch, honestly, but I really don't have no other opinions on it. It's 10 times out of 10 gonna be hard to watch. But we'll see what happens. Now, let me tell y'all, I would have been there. I would have been on the cash. I would have finally seen my face if they had that fine man who was on Deja Vu season 1. He be walking the spot is lit, talking all kind of. I think his name is Prince. Good. Now, not that Prince. I don't want that Prince. I want the now Prince. The one who did the music video. Now That's TV put it in twice, where they gave us the intro of the Playboys, and then they gave us his music video of the song. That Prince right there, Mr. All I Could Give DDG was $500. Prince right there. I probably been in there too, rounding of applause, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, because he fine. But then too, though, once he dropped it, I need to see what it was giving. Now, if it was giving da-dun, girl, ooh. But if it was, done, girl, I would embarrass. I said, baby, Just pull it up, because I'm not doing it. Is this camera on me? It's a no for me. But honestly, hopefully, somebody gonna get Don down too. I kind of want to see him in action. I ain't gonna lie. He said if, you be watching Twitter, this your type of show. And one thing about it, a girl is trying. I'm trying to cleanse. I'm trying to get away from these, sins that I be committing. But yeah, I be on Twitter. I definitely be on Twitter. And I definitely... You know what I'm saying? Can I get the extended version, for free? For free $99, okay? But yeah, we'll see what I got the hookup. Shawty got the hookup is going to give to us. I'm sure, so I think some of it, as far as what I'm talking about will be later on in the season than the beginning of it. So we probably got a little time before we really see some action. Now let's move on to the show. The show definitely was Pookie and Jaybiez. Definitely was a show. They definitely came in and carried. Red. They have really great chemistry. They was able to bounce off each other the whole time. Now I will say it was certain moments where Jaybiez had to get the room. She had to get the room and let it be known, hey, this is my interview. You know what I'm saying? You were here as a guest. I might be here, but this is my shit. Now, from the beginning, from the get-go, from the window to the wall, the girls' outfits looked amazing. The outfits definitely showed me two different vibes, two different aesthetics, and how they was coming. Jaybiez came dressed up as giving, I shine with the stars in the skies. Like, very much moment for life. She looked it amazing. It gave, like, pretty princess. It gave... I know I'm the star of the show. The star has came to speak her truth. And then Pookie's gave very much what she likes to be called, hood fish. It was a cute outfit. It definitely was cute. It was cute. It gave cute. Now, her song had just dropped, Hood Fish. I hate the song. Hate the song. She was trying so hard to make it sound good. The DJ did mess it up twice. But even with him messing it up twice and then him playing it a third time, I just still hated the song. Now, okay, when Pookie first came in, Pookie, was giving personality. Pookie very much was giving, like, this my stuff. So Pookie started twerking. I'm like, yes, as you should. This your music, da-da-da. Now, Pookie, for the rest of the time, then kept twerking. It then became a lot at one point. Because I felt like this was not Pookie's interview. I know y'all Pookie fans gonna be like, this was Pookie's interview. No, boo. This was Jaybiez's interview. Pookie was a guest to Jaybiez. This was her +1. But this was absolutely all about Jaybiez. Again, like I told y'all in the last video, Jaybiez came in and put the work in from the beginning, from the jump, did what needed to be done. Jaybiez didn't do too much talking. When it said lights, camera, she swung in and said fades, okay? It did what needed to be done and took the girls through there. Even took Pookie through there. So this interview wasn't about Pookie. I think Pookie wanted to shine her light in it, and she did do that. But I do think she was overly doing it too. At one point, like, she kept getting up twerking, and I was just like, girl, sit down. We see the BBL. Like, the BBL is there. Okay, like, you dragging it. Like, you just keep getting up. She kept trying to overtalk Jaybiez. When the fans was coming in, she was trying to drag the fans at certain points. Even, like, if Jaybiez didn't agree with her on certain points, she didn't want to try to argue Jaybiez down, and Jaybiez wasn't going for a lot of that, which I'm glad Jaybiez was. I'm glad Jaybiez was keeping a lot of her composure when it came to certain stuff Pookie was doing, because at certain points you would see the small little cattiness. You really have to be like watching it to pick it up, but you seen small little cattiness in the fresh friendship of theirs. But overall, they did great together. Overall, them girls really ate down together. Now, before the girls can even be in their seats for 5 minutes, Sway is already talking about himself like he always does when the dolls come up to his podcast. So Sway quickly, expeditiously started talking about Persuasion. Okay, my thing is this. When it comes to Persuasion, you've talked about her at this point 3 times. Every time the dolls come up to the podcast or the dolls are mentioned, he always makes sure he lets it be known that he don't have no problem with the dolls. He don't mind them. He love the dolls, all this, all that. Like, okay, shut up. How many times you gonna say that? Then, like I said, he always brings up Persuasion, saying that Persuasion was talking down on Now That's TV. Okay, and we been let it go, and you're still talking about it to this day. She talked down on y'all. She's now, backtracking her steps. She trying to get in touch with Deja, all that stuff. She trying to have Deja unblock on Instagram. It's over with. We don't care. Every time you see them, you don't have to bring Persuasion up. And I felt as though he was looking for Pootie to go back and forth with him or be like, well, this, well, that. But one thing about it, I would say Pookie and Jaybiez definitely stuck with Persuasion. Like, they didn't be like, oh, you're not going to talk about Persuasion. They didn't, be argumentative. They stayed neutral, but they let it be known that they wasn't finna leave Persuasion out for dead, just to please Sway, which I did like. I'm glad that they didn't leave her out for dead when it came to him, because it was just like, why do you keep talking about it? Why do you keep bringing it up? Like, she's not here. This don't have nothing to do with why we here, so stop talking to me about it. And I did want him to stop talking to them about it, because, it's, again, like I said, Persuasion not there. You said it the last panel that they had. The last panel that you had the dolls up, you talked about Persuasion. Even before that, I forgot who was up there, but he talked about it then. It's like, let it go. Let it go. If people think that you don't like them, then oh well, let it be. Like, you the one who keep bringing it up. You the one who keep, reamping up people saying something to you or saying that you don't like the girls or whatever. Like, I just want you to let it go and shut up. Like, you keep bringing it up. It's over with, baby. Like, he would not let that go. And I'm just like, it's over with. Let it go. Like, don't bring it up no more. Stop talking about Persuasion, because I'm tired of her in her same wig and you talking about her. It's over with. The girls end up pivoting and moved the conversation along to some things that we needed to know as viewers about the show overall. So Pookie does admit that she did end up moving out the way when Jaybiez was coming over there to hit Savannah. She absolutely admitted that she seen Jaybiez coming over, and she slid her ass to wherever she needed to be to where she couldn't get hit. I said, now Pookie doing all that on the camera. She doing all that on the show, lying, saying that she ain't move. But then you admit to moving on the show. Now, which one is it, baby? Which one is it? Also, Jaybiez clears up that she was always the number 1 pick when it came to Dollhouse. She was never a replacement. She did let us know that she had to go to court. That was the only reason why she didn't show up on time with the other girls. But I honestly feel as though it worked out perfect for her to come later on in the season. That was really a blessing in disguise. Because you think about the season early on, you really didn't know the direction that Now That's TV was taking the show in the first couple episodes. So honestly, yeah, we would have got Jaybiez versus Savannah, and we would have got her with the other girls, but it would have just been another fight that we seen. It just would have been clunched up in the fights that we had already seen before. It wouldn't have had as much value as it had in this last episode. Now, this is where I start keying, because this is when they start acting a damn fool. So the girls end up talking about what's a brick. They started defining a brick, child. Oh, my God. They started defining a brick. So Jaybiez ends up saying, no, it's levels to this brick shit. It's not just one level and everybody be a brick. No. It's levels to this brick house up in here. So she said that Makayla was a jail tray brick. Now, y'all, that took me, because obviously, well, you might not get the joke, but she basically saying because, Makayla be running around there with all the blue on, looking crazy, but they said Makayla got a mean da-dun-da-dun, if you know what I'm talking about. They said Makayla got a long da-dun-da-dun, and with that long da-dun-da-dun, the blue, my heart, it's a lot. So they just saying that, it's giving trade. It's giving jail trade, like in and out. Mass film. Child, they didn't read nobody down like they read Kenzie down. When I tell you read Kenzie down, read Kenzie for pure filth. That was my favorite part of the episode when they read Kenzie for filth. God, Jaybiez said, and let's give it up to the father of the year, Kenzie. Now, usually when they go to hell like that, it be like, okay, skip. But the way they was carrying, like, one thing I'm going to say about it, the panels and the podcast be way better than the show. Because, like, when they give the girls the opportunity to gather each other, a read be had. So, Pookie and Jaybiez was going back and forth on calling Kenzie something with butt. So they said shit butt. I don't know who said shit butt, but when they said shit butt, it was like out the blue. And Pookie kept saying, thank you, fan. That took me because it'll be like a read, thank you, fan. Like, every time she would read, then say it. And I'm like, Pookie, please. And mind you, it's not even coming off like degrading or really like going. It's like they can. So it was funny because they really was keen on these people. Now, the one that took me with Kenzie was Peanut Butter Butt. Now, mind you, they said it's a video on Twitter of Kenzie just on somebody. And first of all, that's super embarrassing. Hate that was even recorded now, Kenzie. Hate that was even recorded for you. I hate that. But anyways, so they said that, it's a video on Twitter of Kenzie pooping on somebody. With that, like I said, they took that, ran with it, and ate Kenzie up for filth. Now, they did end up giving Sway some ideas for season 2. Now, mind you, again, the girls is putting on the whole show. They putting on the whole show. So, the first one obviously was not letting Joyce be a host, and they did call her a junkie. So they like, please don't make no junkie no host no more. Like, let's not do that one. Let's not do that no more. And then Pookie came in and was like, and let's give out some STD tests as well, because these girls be spitting, which they do be spitting, but I don't know why just on TV in general people spit now. I don't know what's so cool about them spitting. I guess they be wanting to over like a real raw and like, I'm finna get you, bitch reaction. Because, like, the spin is unnecessary. Now, Pookie did, add in a little bit as Jaybiez was going down the list of ideas. She said that she wanted to be on Deja Vu. No. Not for me. I'm not the biggest fan of Pookie. I'm not. Thank y'all. Like, I'm not. Pookie is a key when she got with Jaybiez. But just, like, in general, hoodfish, all that, it's a lot. And not a lot as in like I'm uncomfortable, but a lot like shut up and sit down. Shut up. I would prefer Jaybiez, Jelani, Michaela. I would love to see more of Michaela's personality outside of being security. Okasha, because I let it be trash. I just feel as though it's bigger personalities than Pookie on the show. And Pookie does have a big personality, but I just don't really care for Pookie like that. And to me, I've said it before and I will say it again. Pookie be running her ones. She gets beat up and then she run back upstairs. I don't want to see that. That's boring to me. You be talking. They beat you up. You go back upstairs. Like, girl, find something better to do. Like, no. No. Now, Jaybiez ends up saying, the girls could use a confessional room. I think that'd be a good idea for them in particular to get a confessional room. They then spoke on the confessional gangsters of the season so far, which has been London, which I said that too. But to me, like I said before, it was only on that episode where her and Joyce got to fight and Joyce kept beating her ass where London gave confessional gangster. But it was so funny. It was so funny. And then they said Jaden. When I see Jaden confessional and they barely put Jaden's confession in, I get to skipping. Because strong face, I don't be stunned her. They moved on and they started talking about the OGs. So Jay ended up making a great point, basically just saying that a lot of the OGs gave newbies. And they only looked at quote unquote bad because they was the only T-girls on the network. And I totally agree. You know, we all talked about this early on in the season. Like, it's so many, not so many, but it's a lot of new girls who really give the look that Joyce was talking about and have really taken their transition seriously, and they're not in the stepping stones of their transition anymore. They're more settled into it. And a lot of the OGs, aka Barbie, aka Kenzie, are not settled into it. They're still giving stepping stones. They're still giving crawling in their transition. You know, Bria just started her, so it's like, okay, you get a pass because you really kind of just got on TV. But London gave it. Ari, queen of, gave it. Akasha, Sydney, Joyce. It's, you know, it's a lot of people who really know how to put it on, make it look right, get it together. Now, something I thought Pookie did really, really good in, which gave me as a biological woman more insight into like the mindset and, you know, the transition of, you know, what they have to do or whatever. He ends up asking like, what's a doll? And Pookie ends up saying, look like a woman, but a lot of these T-girls still have a mindset of a nigga. I said, okay, I'm listening. She said, house be dirty, still standing up while peeing. Now, the way I said it, probably, you know, it's like, what, huh? But I feel as though that made a lot of sense. That made a lot of sense. And she also said, you know, shaving your legs and getting your hair done frequently. But the one that I wanted to touch on for real was the standing up while peeing. Because again, you know, it's a transition, everything. But for whatever reason, when she said the standing up while peeing hit me so hard, because it definitely is a process that they have to go through to the transition. That's why they, you know, call it a transition. You know, a lot of them do end up keeping their penis and everything like that, which is understandable. I don't know how much the surgery is, but I definitely think it is expensive, you know. But a lot of them do end up keeping it. But even with you keeping it, it's a part of you. It's not the whole you. You know what I'm saying? It's in you. It ain't on you. More so, like, you know who you want to be. You know who you are. And you living in that every day, regardless of, you know, what you started out to be. Who you are is who you are. So that really hit me a lot, because I'm like, okay, you know, it really is more than just getting your hair done, getting your nails done, getting a little cute set and saying, I'm a woman. You know, it's more to it, like she said, mentally. And I think the mental part is the part that I didn't think of when they do transition. You know, obviously, you know, the big mental things that I think of is like telling the parents, you know, all like the little scary stuff, but not the day-to-day of like, this is how you pick up your keys. This is how you walk. You know, supposed to close your legs, all this and that. You know, the small fundamental things. So that really stuck out to me when Pookie said that. That was like, okay, but, you know, I told y'all, too, even when it came to Vogue, I thought the community did Vogue. I thought everybody Vogue. And when London was like, bitch, nobody wanted no motherfucking Vogue, I was like, oh, everybody don't Vogue? Like, you know, you be thinking that you know, but you don't know. And one thing about it, I love to learn more. I love to learn more. I love that. I love to have knowledge of stuff, because like I said, bitch, I thought that was the way you got in the door. What's the Vogue? I thought you had to rip the runway. I thought that was, you know, across the board, bitch. If you gonna come over here, bitch, you got a Vogue. But no, a lot of people don't like the Vogue. A lot of girlies not know Voguers. I said, oh, okay. You learn something new every day. So Jaybiez then ends up talking about hers. So Jaybiez ends up saying, you know, she is a T girl. She's a trans woman, but she does not want to be a woman. She don't want to be that. So Pookie then cuts her off and was like, but you have to understand trans women is still women. And Jaybiez put her hand out. She said, let me touch your hand. Let me finish what I got to say. Because let me talk. Which I felt as though Pookie should have calmed down. Like, y'all not here to argue with each other about what a woman is, the fundamentals of a woman, and the rights of a woman. Let her speak her piece. You said what you said. Let her say what she said. But Jaybiez just ended up saying what I just told y'all. Like, she is who she is. She's a trans woman, and that's how she holds herself, and that's what she sees herself as. She don't see herself as replacing the biological woman. She sees herself as a trans woman. Like, that's who she is. So I put in my notes, being a T-girl is complicated, but we as humans are complicated people. Like, again, you know, they didn't have the same answer. Pookie is like more so like, I identify myself as a woman, simple, point blank, across the board. And Jaybiez is like, I am a woman, but I am a trans woman. Like, I identify myself as a trans woman. You know, so, you know, across the board, I feel as though it was definitely a key. Like, if nothing else, I keyed. I laughed so hard, I laughed out loud. I hollered. If I had somebody in the house with me besides the dogs, I would have punched them in their face and then walked off. Maybe not, you know, going that crazy, but, you know, something like that. But I feel like it was educational because I definitely felt like I didn't know a lot of stuff. Oblivious to a lot of the mindsets that comes with the transition. I didn't know about that. And then, you know, again, like, people are not the same. They are different. And just because you identify with a person in this area does not mean you're going to identify in this area. So I definitely thought, you know, y'all something. But that's all I got for y'all in this one. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I love y'all. I'm see y'all in the next one. Bye.